Welcome back to Burn the Ship, the podcast where we connect entrepreneurs to professionals to help you go all in on your business. I'm your host, Ezra Brown, and without further ado, I'm going to allow my guest to introduce himself.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Chris Campbell, Modern Marketing Solutions. Hope everyone's having a great day so far.
Man, Chris, I appreciate you first and foremost for coming on and joining us today. So I want you to go in, tell us a little bit about your story, who you are, and kind of how you became Chris from Modern Marketing Solutions.
Yeah, man. I think we're not a natural marketer by a lot of standards. Really out of anger. I think it's one of those where I own a construction business out here in Austin, Texas, and over the last 7 years, we've lost about $200,000 to what we call shit marketing, right?
Mhm.
Marketers that overpromise, underdeliver, or
Absolutely.
don't do anything,
Right.
or they create their own narrative by distorting figures to make you think that you're doing better than what you are.
Mm-hmm.
And last summer, we just got burned to the tune of $10,000 from one guy who was in a construction business, owned a marketing company, knew the pain points, and knew how to get to the heart of me. And at the end, burned us way worse than where we were when we started. And we said, hey, we're not putting another penny towards another marketing company until we pull the veil back. Let's find out what everyone's doing and let's do it better than them. And let's overcome the objections that a lot of people run into.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So being in that construction side, that's a volatile industry anyway. You know how some people do
Mhm.
business. Grew up
Oh,
around it.
yeah.
I grew up around it, so it's so people are pretty shady in that business. But the marketing side, how did that kind of help you? Because obviously you guys are niche to kind of who y'all are going after for marketing. I would assume. I'm not going to say I do. I know that yet because I'll ask you later. But saying that you are in that construction world, what kind of has helped you? Now just be able to relate to the people you're talking to.
Well, I mean, for one, we've all lost together. I mean, everybody's lost. Everyone's taking a chance on the latest fad or the latest AI can do this or cannot do that or whatever the case may be. And so,
Right.
for us, we've invested the money into programs that actually work, that
Hmm.
actually help people. And so, what we were able to do is because we own our own construction business, we interviewed the top 30 marketing companies in Austin. We had them give us, their pitch, their audit, and tell us how they could help us either rank better on Google, have better organics, SEO, maybe better pay-per-clicks, better ads. And I would say out of the 30, probably two of them I would probably truly believe today. So that means 28 out of the 30 I would never go with, knowing what I know now.
Right. Which
And
is
so they're overpricing. And again, they're just doing the same thing. They're not offering enough value for people to understand how they can actually help their own business. And
right.
so by doing that, they're hamstringing the industry back. So our niche is local service businesses. I mean, our niche is construction. Our niche are contractors. I mean, because we've been in it, we know it. We know how the game works and how to win the right way.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I love that. That's awesome. When you said y'all interviewed the top 30 companies for marketing,
Mhm.
that's genius. That's some smart stuff. You don't hear that a lot. So with that being said, obviously you got into the business, out of pain, as you said, or out of loss. But what was kind of also attractive about, you know, staying in a niche or not, and or being where you have a wide umbrella?
Well, what's interesting for us is, you have different versions of marketing, right? And I'll kind of pull the veil back a little bit so
Mhm.
whoever's listening will actually maybe enjoy this because
Absolutely.
most marketers are not going to give this away, but I definitely will. So you have three lanes in marketing. You have what's called white hat, right?
Hmm.
Which is safe, it's good, you could drive down it. You have gray hat, which is kind of like, well, you're probably fine, but this may or may not be legal or the right thing to do.
Right.
And then you have black hat, which is like, it's all the wrong stuff,
Hmm.
but it could exponentially help you theoretically, but it also has the potential to really catastrophically hurt you within your Google or Meta range.
Okay.
And so what we've been able to identify is what lanes each one can be driven on that make the most sense for clients. A lot of white hat marketers are the ones that really do get some good results,
Hmm.
but it's slow, it's hard, and a lot of times the amount of money you put in doesn't equate to the money you get out.
Right.
Not all, but a lot of the time that is what we went through.
Right.
So what we did is we said, hey, you know what? We found a niche within this that nobody else does. And so we bought our own news station.
Mm-hmm.
And so we developed a program called Rapid Ranker Technology, where we utilize our news station to rank up anybody as granular as a street address that people are on. And so just nobody has that. And so that separates us from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from going down all three of those streets,
Right.
interviewing the top 30,
Mm-hmm.
seeing what they do and do not do well,
Right.
and then identifying the pricing lane in which people can actually be helped and
Right.
they don't have to spend an arm and a leg on it.
Right. Absolutely. So, and with pricing, that's actually something I could get a good question from. But so with pricing, are you guys where it's like, custom to each business, depending on size, relative to, or, relative to monthly volume, whatever that looks like, or relative to lead volume, lead to conversion volume?
Yeah, so we offer, and we don't necessarily do anything custom, right? So if you have a really big business,
Mm-hmm.
right, it's going to be dependent on what maybe their ad spend is going to be, right? And so we may or may not take a percentage of the ad spend,
Right.
but most businesses we don't, right? But if we're managing a $50,000 ad spend per month, we'll probably take 10, 15% off that is, which is customary for that kind of size. But for everybody else, I mean, we are very manageable in those things. I mean, we have plans that start at $379.
Mm-hmm.
They just go up from there. So it's really tailored towards the needs of that person.
Right.
So sometimes people just need a really good boost. So we have a program where they don't pay a retainer fee, they just pay a one-time fee. We set everything up, we give them lead generation, added the rapid ranker technology, and these people can see great success without paying $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 a month,
Right.
in which they may or may not see that outcome in 4 to 6 months, in which they get frustrated and then leave.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. It makes enough sense. And then obviously, having the radio station, but what else are you guys doing on the SEO side? And obviously all the social media stuff. What are you guys doing a little bit different that kind of, makes you guys stand out?
Okay, so a lot of marketing people just jump into the sale. They
Mm-hmm.
say, "Oh, I've got this great sale. You have to buy from me," right? Well, that's really kind of the wrong way to really start about it, right? We want to get an audience that doesn't even know us yet,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we call that really the top of the funnel, right? So you have a funnel that leads down towards the last person that's going to buy. And we need to get people involved. We need to get
Mm-hmm.
eyes on the business, and then let's give them away stuff. It's really, Alex Hormozzi talks about it a lot, right? It's value, 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 and then ask. And he even says, so much value, you don't even have to ask. People are going to ask you. And so we have to provide so much value that people would, by the time we give away the 10th thing, they're saying, hey, we want to join you. Hey, we get it. You guys know your stuff. We want you to grow our brand, right? And that really is a difference maker because again, 95% of marketing companies do suck and they steal your money. And part of that is because they're not providing enough value. They're not showing to the end user's client how well that client could benefit from the client that they are servicing. And
Absolutely.
so identifying those lanes is the biggest part of everything. I mean, you really have to have a relationship with that client, really to the point where you know the ins and outs better than even they do. And
Mm-hmm.
you can predict more of their future faster than they can. And that's when you're going to win, really, at the end of the day.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And then how much do you credit being able to obviously relate back to them and give them, that reassurance whenever, say when you're doing that sale or whenever you were initiating starting this business, because you're in that type of business?
Mhm.
How much did you kind of lean on that getting into it?
Well, it starts with the popular thing right now is, hey, if you don't see results, you don't pay, right? We have to overcome those objections,
Right.
right? Why are those companies either good or bad?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one, they're what we call their churn rate, like how fast a client comes on and comes off. If it's 30% or 33%, they don't care. They're
Right.
just going to sign you up and just wait until you give up. And then as they just keep adding on people, right? And so that part we're trying to eliminate, by it. Because the reality is there's really no guarantees, right?
Right.
The guarantee that we have is that we need to know the client intimately and who the client is servicing intimately, right? It's not enough just to know pain points, but it's
Mm-hmm.
enough. You need to know how and why that person is buying. What is the habits behind it? So there's a lot of a lot of um, a lot that really just doesn't come from initiative or what you assume is going to happen. We got to dive really into it. So it's beyond ChatGPT just Googling like, why do they want to buy from me? I mean, you got
Hmm.
to go way more in depth.
Absolutely.
And so the brain is a funny thing, right? And so to understand why really takes a lot more in depth. And so a lot of marketing companies will spend 15, 20, 30 minutes getting another client. We want to spend a couple of hours.
Right.
We want to really get in depth. We want to write all this down. We want to track it, and we want to
Hmm.
hold you accountable just like you want to hold us accountable. And I
Right.
think that type of synergy is how you also get great results as well.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah, you guys got it going on. So, with Modern Marketing Solutions, is it just you, or do you have any business partners, or you got people working for you?
Yeah, we have a full team.
It's awesome.
So we have a full internal team,
Hmm.
and then we have a full external team that we do have on as contractors. And the reason for that is because we want to identify people who know their lane, right? We don't want someone that knows how to build funnels,
Hmm.
but then also says they know how to build websites, right?
Right.
We want one great person who builds websites and one great person who builds funnels.
Yeah.
We want one graphic designer and we want one video editor. We
Hmm.
don't believe that one person is going to be the best at all four of those, or
Hmm.
even two out of those four.
Right.
So, we do have 12 contractors who work for us. Now, right now, they work exclusively for us. They have
Hmm.
NDAs as well. So they're not going anywhere. They're not going to do anything with the information that we have.
Right.
But we do provide the best possible outcome for our clients. And
That's
that's how
awesome.
we can keep prices down as well without
Mm.
having to, pay 200 grand for a perfect graphic artist, right? When we have someone that could do it just as good,
Hmm.
and now we can keep our price down to help you, the end user.
Absolutely, and that's also a smart man, smart businessman is hiring out the things that they can't do well. So that way. But how much do you attest to that? Also being an entrepreneur previously, to being able to have that knowledge, like this is going to make my business tick better. Is
Yeah,
having that there.
100%. I mean, you don't learn these experiences um, by not going through the fire.
Right.
I mean, I was reading something earlier today. I didn't realize, but Kobe Bryant has the most missed shots in the history of the NBA.
Yeah.
He has over 14,000 missed shots. But what do we know him as? Big game Kobe,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so for us, we've been through that fire.
Right.
We've already blown several budgets where we can actually help people from actually losing that next budget,
Right.
right? And that's, oh man, that's so key.
Yeah.
So for us, for our passion is understanding that we continually go through it. Like a couple of our project managers here, guess what? They've been on the construction side too, and they get it. So you're not just talking to me who's been burned, you're
Right.
talking to the team that's been burned.
Right.
And so you're going to get better communication, better follow-up, better care, really, at the end of the day, than the people who just want to take your money and say, screw it.
Absolutely. That means the world, because that kind of white glove service, whenever, is what you want it to feel like, as much as it can. But
Exactly.
Chris, I want to peel back a little bit to you personally too. Now, is what do you do with your time outside of business? Who's Chris? Who's Chris?
I mean, I got three kids. They are four, one's almost 9 and 14. 14 is like in the dating, wanting a boyfriend range, and I hate it. I hate it so much. And she's wonderful, and I'm just like, man.
You don't know what you want to.
She's got a little boy that kind of follows her around now, and my wife like almost kind of eggs it on.
Yeah.
Like she invites him over for dinner, and we've gone to the beach or we've gone on the boat. She invites him, and I'm like, babe, stop. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that's what I'm dealing with. I'm having to overcome those objections, those problems. I feel like in the business world, I've solved a lot of problems. I
Hmm.
mean, we've done almost $50 million in just the past couple of years.
That's
And
beautiful.
for whatever reason, that problem at home, I cannot seem to overcome. And it's not going to be by bribing, and it's not going to be by honest conversation. I think I just have to live through it and just see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. That is.
It is,
That is.
man. It's
This.
so hard. But outside of that, man, I do a lot of reading.
Yeah.
And I love to go down different rabbit holes, man. If someone has just a particular question and they're like, "Hey, man, I'm really stumped," then man, I like to take the time to say, "Hey, let me help you out."
Yeah.
Whatever it is. It
Yeah.
could be a bad golf swing. It
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
whatever, a trip somewhere, identifying a certain process to something. I love
Yeah.
to just dig in it. And again, there's three probable lanes: a white hat, a gray hat, a black hat. Let's go look at all of them. Let's
Yeah,
see how it
absolutely.
really helps you at the end of the day.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So I appreciate that. You're curious cat. That's awesome. So did you go to A&M or did you go to Texas out there? Are you originally
Man,
from Texas?
neither. I went
Yeah.
to neither. No, I actually started out, funny enough, my parents were um, remodelers, and they were actually what we call syndicators, meaning they buy and flip apartment complexes.
Okay.
So growing up, my parents had been split up, and so I would fly out to Albuquerque to visit my mom and my stepdad, and that's what they did. And
Mm-hmm.
I really got into it, and
Yeah.
I thought it was a really cool experience. My stepdad was master plumber, master electrician, HVAC,
Yeah.
taught at the college, owned his business, owned the syndication, and he was wildly successful. And on an outward perspective, you would never see it. He was
Mm-hmm.
very modest with what he did. And I really respected that. I mean, he was really a great idol to look at and say, "Hey, man, this is the type of guy that demonstrates love and passion for people, and also really taking care of people, and really had a what we call a Christ-like feel to him." I mean, he's a great man. And
That's
then
awesome.
my biological father was a salesman. He was a car
Yeah. Yeah.
salesman,
Yeah.
was my whole life, and so. I really got the opportunity to witness both. And my biological dad's amazing and fantastic, Christ-like as well. But he was the sales guy. So I
Right.
got the chance to really see both. But I went to North Texas. I actually got a degree
Yeah.
in culinary, and
Culinary food guy.
I was an executive chef for 8 years, and I was tired of it. I said,
So
nah, I need to get out of this.
what made you kind of flip the switch and burn the ship?
Well, man, my wife, I met her, and I was like, wow, I'd missed like 8 straight Mother's Days, 8 straight Father's Days, 8 straight Thanksgivings and Christmases. I mean, I was tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way, realistically. I mean, the one of the highest divorce rates are couples where the husband or wife is in the industry.
Right.
And it's hard because you don't work 40 hours, you don't work 60 hours, you might work 65 to 90 hours. And
Right.
that's what I was working, and that was just not sustainable to have
Right.
a family or even, try to make it in that realm.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah, that's yeah, that'll get you through there. But culinary, that's
Oh,
cool.
man.
How many big restaurants you work at?
Let's see. Probably four.
That's awesome.
At one point when I was 24, I had an opportunity to either go to BJ's in Wichita, Kansas,
Mm-hmm.
or go to Cheesecake Factory and take over the Frisco one at the mall, which was one of their busiest stores at the time in
Mm-hmm.
the company. And man, I said, you know what? I'm single. Like, let's get out of here. Let's go to Wichita.
Yeah.
Terrible decision, but you know what? Looking back, it's what got me here.
Right.
It's what helped me. I told myself I would never live in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and when I lived in Wichita, I prayed. I was like, God, get me out of here. I don't care where I go. And my biological mom, after my stepdad had passed away, she said, "Hey, I could use your help in Houston." Got to Houston, and then met my wife 7 weeks later.
Yeah, God led
And
you.
it wasn't trying, wasn't in that headspace,
Yeah.
and here we are today. So.
God led you in the right direction. That's awesome.
Dude,
That's a cool
it
story. That's a
was,
cool
yeah,
story.
man, because I was like, no way, I'll never live in Houston. And man, I actually fell in love with Houston. It became a really great city to be in.
Y'all got some dang good food over there. It's a melting pot like it is over here in Atlanta.
Oh man, yeah, man, Atlanta's got some great food too. But
We
yeah,
do.
Houston, man, you got every culture on the planet,
Hmm.
that's there. So for sure.
I think
And now
Houston.
that we're in Austin now, we've been in
Yeah.
Austin for almost 11 years,
Hmm.
and man, Austin's great too.
Yeah.
It doesn't have quite the food punch that Houston has, but dude, it's a great city. It's a great city for kids.
Hmm.
It's just a great city to be in,
That's
period.
my mom's best friends. They live over there. He coaches at the University of Texas. So
Oh,
he
nice.
was at Georgia and he's been at Texas the last like 5 years, I believe, 4 or 5
What is
years.
he? Was he coach?
He's a DB's coach.
Okay,
So, but he's been
nice.
over there for a long time, and they have a real beautiful house over there. I've never been to it. My mom's been over there a couple times.
Hmm.
Whenever she goes out there and hangs out,
But
all their girlfriends will go over there. Got a big old house on the lake over there.
well, next time you come to Austin, man, let me know.
Well,
I'll take you.
I haven't been, so the first time I'll be there will be in October. We'll be there October 9th through the 11th for something we got going on for work. So we'll
Done.
be there
All
for
right.
no from the 9th to the 14th. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll be there
Well,
for a
let me
couple days.
know, and we'll go to Joe Rogan's comedy show, and we'll do all the right things.
That would be awesome. But no, back to the business side a little bit. Peel back is
Yeah.
you know, what helped you scale the most? Obviously looking at everything, you going into these marketing companies, you having them come in, talk to you, and you obviously knowing the pain points in your business, but it's still marketing. It's still
Yeah.
hard to do, hard to get into. What made you, think about buying a radio station? Like those aren't things that are just there. You learn those things from somebody, but where did those things come from? If you don't
Okay.
mind asking.
Yeah, great. Man, that's okay. We'll pull some of the layers back, but we'll start with, just to clarify, I don't own a radio station, I own a news
News
station. So
station.
just want to make sure you know that.
Yeah, yeah, news station.
So a
Sorry.
little different. I'm not on the airways per se, although that may not be a bad idea. But I do know radio is way down, so I'm probably out on that.
Yeah. You
Anyways,
get them serious.
okay, so if any of your readers or listeners, I'm sure they have, right? Alex Ramonzi has really put out two phenomenal books. He's got a third book coming out, but one of them is called The $100 Million Offer,
Mhm.
and I believe it's just really kind of almost the Bible at this point for businesses, because it's going to teach and coach you. Hey, here's your offer. Here's what you need to be doing, and here's how you should look at your business, right? Unless your business does $1 million in profit a year,
Mhm.
not revenue, profit, your business is not your business. You are a marketing company that also does whatever you do,
Right.
right? So if you're a plumber, you're a marketing company, and you have a plumbing company,
Mhm.
but you don't have a plumbing company by itself, right? So that mindset is, I'm talking to everybody. I'm going to open up every door. I want to go to every networking event. I want everyone to know my brand,
Mhm.
because it's hard. It
Right.
is hard. The hardest thing to manage is not a big business. I've managed a $1 billion business before.
Mhm.
The hardest thing to manage is a $500,000 business, a
Mhm.
$100,000 business,
Mhm.
because you depend on it. And right, 98% of all small businesses will fail by year five, 98%. So if you're going to be the 2%, it's because in year one and year two, you're hustling. You're getting to the point where your brand is sustainable without you. And
Mhm.
that's the hardest part of scaling,
Mhm.
is being able to pull you away from your business
Yep.
and making sure the business is survivable, whether you are there or not there. That's the hardest part to overcome, no question.
Hmm. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I appreciate you sharing that and you said it's Alex from Munzie?
Alex Ramonzi. Yeah,
Alex
$100 million
Ramonzi.
offer. And then he has another book called $100 Million Lead.
Uh-huh.
And both are incredible. They're must reads. I mean, they're imperative. There's also a book, I forget the author, but it's called Execution.
Mhm.
I think all three of those go together. I mean, you could put Grant Cardone's 10X
Mhm.
in there as well. I think that gives you kind of the hustle
Yep.
to overshoot your goals, because when you fall short, you're going to overcome bigger goals than what you might have originally set for you. So I
Right.
think there's a lot of positive and mental fortitude in that too.
Absolutely. I believe in that a ton because the mental is kind of what controls what you're going to do. But I just started reading, so that's like within the last probably 8 months, I've read 5 books. So, and then right now I just finished The Art of War, and I'm starting Atomic Habits. So I just bought it, so it should be here
Good.
anytime now. So that's what I'm kind of road I'm going down right now, and then it's going more towards that's what I'm looking for. So I appreciate that.
So Alex gives a really good example. First off, first thing in his book, he says, "Hey, the best way to learn is, one, get the book,
Hmm.
right? And two, get the Audible behind it. So you're reading, listening, and looking at it at the same time, and you'll triple the amount of memory and feedback you're going to get from the book,
Mm.
right? So do it twice, do it 3 times, and really get into what that looks like.
Hmm.
And when you have a team, one of my favorite books of all time, it's called 1 Minute Manager, and it's a 30-minute book,
Hmm.
and it talks about managing on the fly, understanding expectations, setting proper expectations, and then also how to incorporate your team members into things. So as you scale, you then know how to manage on the fly when questions or concerns come up, quickly.
Right.
And so from an executive level, those are things that I've learned over the years that you learn from experience, you learn from the fire.
Hmm.
So the advice that I'm giving I think is timeless.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that my mentor in the beginning taught me was you need three things as a small business owner to survive. You need a great banker, you need a great lawyer, and you need a great mentor. And if you have those three, you're going to be okay.
Absolutely, I love it. Great lawyer, great mentor, and then a great banker. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
My the founder of my company, he actually I believe those are three of his pillars, and he probably doesn't even know they are. And I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna use that one later, and
Yeah,
ask him.
you should. Please. And I'd love a quote me on it. That'd be
Absolutely.
great.
No, I'm going to for sure, most definitely. And then Chris, there's two last questions we ask every one of our guests. One is going to be well, the first one is going to be, what do you want to do with your time? What's it look like whenever you can fully step away from the business? Whether that be spend time with the kids, spend time with the grandkids later on in life. What does that look like for you? What is it? What do you want to do with your time?
Man, I tell you what, I'm a big golfer, so I would love to continue to play courses all around the US and, do a top 50 course challenge where I can just go to the top 50. I think that'd be phenomenal.
Yeah.
My parents are getting up there in age, so more quality time I think is imperative. I think as the older we all get, the more we wish the time would slow down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very paradoxical because when you're younger, you want time to speed up. And so now that mindset change becomes really imperative.
Mm-hmm.
For me, those two things I think are really critical. Enjoying the kids' time is great. And really those family moments. Each time that I've started a company and really dove into it, I had to ask permission from my wife to be a bad husband and to be a bad father
Right.
and say, hey, I need 6 months to go all out. I need you
Right.
to just let me do what I do best, and that is create, expand, believe, and put it to paper and rally the team around this. And if we do those things, we will see successes before that 6 months. But I need to be in that bad position so that I can give you more and the family more long term, better
Right.
protection, better longevity, and you will get more time down the road by giving me a little less time up front.
Right. No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I can appreciate that for sure. And then the last thing we ask is burning the ship is the name of the podcast. Do you know where we got the term from? You're a reader, so you may.
I actually don't, but I do know of if there's a Christian group called for oh my gosh. Anyways, there's an album
Hmm.
called "Burn the Ships" by I can't remember the name of the group now.
That
Uh, anyways, yeah, I know that album, but
no,
outside of that, no, you can go ahead and tell me.
it is not, but it is from Spanish conquistador Hernan Cortez or England conquistador. Spain conquistador Hernan Cortez. He landed in modern Mexico. Made his men disassemble their ships and take off all their supplies and burn their ships on the beaches. And that was their sense that they were going to make it there and die trying. And we use that same sense of business. Kind of how we got the mantra. But what was that like emotion for you when you finally went all in and said, "Screw it, I'm stepping away from chefing," and went all in on your business?
Well, I didn't tell my wife, I'll tell you that much. And so it was on May 31st, and my buddy down the street, I called him up. I said, "Hey, I'm making a change. Meet me at the pool. Bring a 6 pack of beer. I'll bring a 6 pack." And by 2 a.m., we had come up with our construction company. We came up with a name. We had a logo involved. He was very much like me, where he was just like, go, go, go. And this was on a Friday night. And by Sunday, I had a website up. I mean, I had a phone number. I had a logo. I had business cards already printed and ready to go from Office Max or Office Depot now, whichever they are.
Yeah,
And by Tuesday, I had my LLC and my EIN number from Federal, and I was off and running by Wednesday.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
awesome.
so it's when you really want it, you're gonna make it happen.
Hmm.
And I like the idea of burning the ship because I definitely burned the ship. I mean,
Yeah,
we had 2 months of savings, and I said, okay, here we go. This is before the kids, and so I said, you know what? Just give me a chance to do what I know we can do, and I'll do whatever it takes. I'll work Saturdays, I'll work Sundays, I'll work nights.
right.
And it didn't take but I think 6, 7 weeks before we caught fire and never had to look back. And I didn't work a
Man,
Saturday for like a couple of years.
man,
So
that's
it was
awesome.
nice.
That
Mhm.
that that is awesome. That is awesome. Well, Chris, tell the people where to find you, man. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Yeah, appreciate it. Man, Ezra, thank you for your time. I'm at chris@modernmarketing.com. Is my email. It's got my phone number that's on there as well. You go to our website. I mean, we have ads all over the place too, so I'm sure you can find it there.
Hmm.
We're at the Modern Marketing Solutions for Instagram. And then we've got TikTok and stuff like that. But honestly, my main focus really is Google Meta. That's what we're best at. That's
Hmm.
what we know how to drive. We let TikTok go to the influencers, and we handle everything else.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we'll link your stuff down below. It's been a pleasure, and I'll give you the last word today.
Man, I tell you what, thank you, Ezra, for your time. Thank you for everyone's time. And I will tell you this, if you're in a position where you're struggling, or even if you feel like you may not be struggling, but you're not getting the results, those are the people who we want to help. We want to help the people that want to get more out of life and to do more.
Absolutely, that's awesome. Well, once again, guys, burn the ship.